Hi, this is Amir from simpletech.ca, and I'm trying to answer here a few questions that a lot of people might come across when you have to take an exam. So I'm going to go through it. It's not going to be very well organized, but you'll get a sense of it. So one of the questions that you might come across is where they say that repeat rows 1 to 7. So that's like from top 7 rows, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're saying that repeat these rows on each and every page. So say for example this list, that's this sheet 1, you had like 100 page. So on each and every page on the top of it you wanted those 7 rows. So what you have to do is you go to File, Page Setup, you go to the Sheet option, and then you see there's an option there called Repeat Rows at Top. Right there, you see it answers your question in a way. You click on that option there. Now you just select the rows. That's it. So now on this sheet, not everywhere, on this sheet, each and every row, so if you had like say 20 pages, when you look at print preview, on the top of the page you'll have this rows repeated. So that's the way you answer this question. Another question you might come across where it says put the negative numbers in a certain way. So I've just got this list up here of negative and positive numbers. So you select it. Now you can go to Format Cells, and sometimes in the exam you cannot do right click. There is an option there for Format Cells, but you cannot use that sometimes. So you might have to go to Format Cells, Number, and then if they want you to put a currency, you go to currency and then choose this. If they want you to put a bracket, if it's just number, then you can just put the number and then choose this is negative with the red and how many decimal places you want. Click OK. So now the negative numbers show up in a bracket, so that's under formatting cells. Just going to go to sheet 2. Now in this case I've just got a simple example. I'm going to do equal to price multiply by the quantity. It's a very simple calculation. Now I'm just going to use the fill handle, which is used to copy. So say for example up here I had some other calculations. Say I had equal to this plus this. I'm just practicing, it's not accurate. So up here I've got a plus sign and up here I've got a multiplication. Now when I use fill handle, so I'm just going to select both and I'm going to look for the fill handle and I copy it down. So now you see up here it is B2 times C2, B3 by C3, B4 by C4. So fill handle does the job. Now up here C2 by B2, C3, and C4 plus B4. So that is just it's copying the formula down, but when it goes down it changes the rows automatically. In the same way, if you use fill handle and you go across, it will change the column in the calculation. It keeps the formulas exactly the same, it only changes the rows when you go down and it changes the column when you go down. Another question that might come up is that copy these numbers, which is in this case, you see if you look at the formula bar, it shows you the formula. So the question is that select these numbers, so copy it. So I'm going to select it. I can right click and copy. I can copy from here, or I can go to edit, copy, and they're saying only paste the value. You don't need to paste the formula. So what I do is while it is selected, edit, paste special, and I choose values right there. Click OK. Now I'm going to just click here and hit escape to stop that thing dancing. Now look in the formula bar, number 6, 5, 9, 8. No formulas there because you are pasting special, just the values. If you wanted to email this file to somebody directly, I haven't saved it, so I'll just go ahead and save it right now. Hit save. I'm just going to save it right here, book 1. Just one more thing I can show you is right at this part, if you wanted, you can go to Tools, General Options. Now you can put a password there to open, password to modify. You can also put a check mark and say read only. So if you put a password to open, somebody opening this file has to type a password. You can have a password to modify, so anybody wanted to make a change. If you make it read only, people can only read it. So that's a good option. I'm going to hit save. To email this directly, file, send to, and there is an option there called mail recipient. So most probably in an office environment, all the email clients are set up. So when you click here, it launches Outlook Express or some other program or Microsoft Outlook, and then you can send the email and the file will be attached automatically to the email. Another question that is asked a lot is about creating custom list. Let's see. Say for example, when you type Monday. Now if I look for the fill handle and I copy it, it types Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It does that because Excel has a list where it has been set up that when you see Monday and use fill handle, do this. Same thing it does with January. It does the months. So if you want to create your own list, so say I'll create a list which will be something. So let's go to, so what you have to do, you go to Tools, Options, and then you go to section that usually shows up in General. So you have to go to the section where it says Custom List, and then you say Add, and there is a new list there called Empty, and right there is my cursor. Now I can just make something up. So say Mary, Larry. So I'm just putting a comma afterwards. So I've just made up something, and I click Add. So now you see there is January, February, March, and I've got this list up here: Mary, Larry, Jerry, Sally. So I click OK. Now when I type Mary, and I now go in that cell, look for the fill handle, it automatically types my custom list. Another question that comes up a lot is, say for example, what they say is that in this range, count how many times the word Portland has been repeated. You could do Toronto, whatever. The one thing you have to remember when you're doing this is make sure that the calculation or wherever you're going to show that number is not in here. You have to be outside the selection. And what you are looking for is a formula called countif. So you can either click on this FX, or you can go to Insert Function. So I've clicked here, which is outside the range. Insert Function. Now I am looking for, you see, while it is dark out there, I can just, it is highlighted, so I can just type countif and hit go, and it shows me right there countif. It also provides you an explanation up here on the bottom. Click OK, and the first thing it says, give it the range. So you just go and select a range. So say I select all of that. Just make sure you don't select the range where you are typing the formula. And the criteria, I'll say the criteria is Portland. I click OK. Now it's telling me 6, which should be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is, count if. And there is a formula bar showing you what it does. Another function you can have is what is known as concatenate. I think I got it right, concatenate. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to take these first name and last name and put them together up here. So instead of it being in two different cells, you are merging them into one cell. So again, you can start the functions fx or insert function. Now in this case, you're looking for a function called concatenate. If you didn't want to type that or remember the spelling, you click in the category, choose text, and look for the word concatenate. Or you know what, it's not concatenate, concatenate. I think that's the way it's pronounced. Concatenate. Okay. So I start it. The first thing it says, which is the first text? So I'll say this is the first text. Click in the second line, which is the text 2. This is the text 2. Click OK. And there's my name. first name, last name together. I look for the fill handle, copy it down, and it does it for all the cells. So this is in some of the questions that might come up in Excel. I'm just going to look at something in Word. So say for example they ask you that find some other word for cosmetics. So I just click in there and I can go to Tools, Language, and there's an option there for thesaurus. I click it, and right here on the side, you see on the right hand side, makeup, foundation, powder, eyeshadow, mascara. So just trying to give you different words which are synonymous with cosmetics. So there's different options there, English, US, or what is it? I think sometimes they also have some other words. Let me see. Tools, language. No, thesaurus is the only option. Another thing you might come across a lot is where they say insert a date. So it's very easy. I'm just going to close this side window up here. Insert date and time, and choose the format they want. Do they want you to insert this format? Make sure you follow the instructions properly. If they say insert it like this with the time, do that. If they say like that, do that. So I'll just pick this one for now. This update automatically option is pretty good. If you check mark it, click OK. Every time you open this file, the date will be today's date. So it's really good with cover letters where you have to put a date. Try to do this because every time you open this file, it will be current date. A lot of people make a mistake sending out a resume with a cover letter and the date is from a month ago. Say if you wanted to change the header and make it capital, like instead of it being H capital, everything lowercase, you can make it all uppercase by going to Format, Font. You can also go right click and Font, and right there's an option for all caps. There's also small caps. I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is all caps, Format, Font, and small caps is where the H is capital, everything else is a smaller size. But make sure you choose what they ask for. If they say all caps, choose all caps. Another question that might come up is about something to do with adding readability statistics in spelling and grammar check. So you go to Tools, Options. Usually it opens up in general. In the spelling and grammar check, right there it has the option Show Readability Statistics, and then click OK. So that's that. I'm going to save this file. Again, in this case too, you have the option when you go to Tools, General. In this case, they call it Security Options, and right there you can put password to open, password to modify, read only. So I'll just save this file. If you want to save the same file as a text file, so you go to File, Save As. You can give it whatever name you want. Save as type, you click on the drop down arrow and scroll down, and you're looking for plain text. So whatever they say, if they say text only, then you do just plain text. Is there any other option? No, text only will be this plain text, which is more like, I think it will open in Notepad if you do that, because it will not have much of the formatting options. Sometimes they'll say that when you go to File, you see usually it gives you a list of the last few files here, like you see it says 1 and 2. I think by default it shows like 4 of them, and they might say make it more, like have 10, which is good if you use that so that you can open a file quickly. Go to Tools, Options. In the General section, there is the list, recently used file list. You can increase it and make it 8, 9, 10, whatever you feel like. I think it goes up to 9. There is another one up here, the measurement units. Sometimes you find that when you go to page setup, the units are in centimeters, and it can drive you crazy because you're used to inches. So just go to Tools, Options, General, change it to inches. Even in the Tools and Options, you'll also find security option there. The same thing with passwords shows up there. Tools and Option. So I think these are some of the questions that might be beneficial to people who have to take an exam. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can talk about. You are used to file, page setup, changing margins, layout. Uh, you know about bullets and numbering. Another one that might come across a lot is creating columns. So if you ever come across it, you just select it, whatever information, format, and look for columns. Choose 2. If they want 3, click OK. Now you've got 2 columns. If you choose 3, it will be 3 columns. Another question that you might find that comes up is where they say that find how many words are there and stuff. You go to Tools and Word Count, and it tells you how many pages, how many words, how many characters with spaces, no spaces. So that option is there. You can also, sometimes when you go to File and Properties, up here, it gives you some information in statistics, but sometimes I find there is some variation sometimes from here to there. So I think you have to go to Tools and Word Count. I'm just going to switch to Excel. In Excel, some of the features that you might want to be familiar with is File, Page Setup, and Grid Lines. You see, if you go to Print Preview right now, there is no lines, and you can go to Setup from here, which is the same thing. You add grid lines, it puts the lines around it. Close. File, Page Setup. You can also do, when you go to margins, you can say center horizontally and vertically. Now if you look at Print Preview, your information is in the middle of the page, horizontally and vertically. File, Page Setup. Header and footer, if you wanted your own custom header, click that. Custom footer. You can also choose the print area up here, like if you click here and then you say this is my print area, so you're setting a print area. Let's see Print Preview. You see now it's only selecting that section, nothing else. So this is there is also another thing called protecting sheets. So if you ever come across such a question, when you go to Tools, Protection, and you see Protect Sheet, Protect Workbook. Workbook means the whole file, sheet means the sheet you are on, in this case sheet 1. So you can kind of go there. A lot of time once you get there, you get the answer right, and you don't have to do much with it. There is also an option, like say for example up here I want to put a comment. Insert comment, then I can type something there, garbage. So now when I point to it, it shows me the comment. You can do the same thing in Word. Select the word, insert, look for the word comment, and you can type a comment there. And now there's the comment. So similar idea. You might also have an option where you say move or copy sheet, where you want to copy the whole thing, the whole sheet, and move it somewhere. So that's where that is. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, this is very interesting one. So I'm just going to make some things bold. So I'm just going to make a few things bold. And the question, what it says is that it wants you to find everything which is bold and replace it with no bold. Or it might be anything. They might say find everything which is bold and italic and replace it with which is no italic. So you have to go to find and replace, edit, find. You go to replace section. Now in the find what, you have to click the more button here and you go to format. So your cursor is up here. You go to format, font, and then you say find bold. Click OK, and then replace it with what? You can say replace it. So I just replaced in that format, font, replace it with not bold. Click OK. Now if I hit replace all, you see it telling me 2 replacement done. So now I don't have any bold. My last name is no longer bold. So that's a really good one to find. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you find this interesting. And if you have any questions, please email back, leave a comment.